This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. Competed in nearly 700 PGA Tour events, 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame and the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. It's time to tee it up. News from the world of golf. We're on the range with Jay and Dan.
Welcome into Golf with Jay Delsing on this Sunday morning. With Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Coming up, our guest will be Frank Nobilo, longtime player on the PGA Tour, commentator with both the Golf Channel and CBS Sports. Looking forward to catching up with him. But really, this is about catching up with Jay Delsing on what is a very special day because it's the final day of the Ascension Charity Classic. It is here. It is fun. It's been a great week. And oh, by the way, great to see you. How you doing,
Danny? I'm doing great, man. It's great to be with you today. Yeah, Sunday of Ascension Week, just spectacular. You know, we can announce to the world something that you and I have known for a while, that we're going to have 3 more years of this tournament, which we want to thank everybody involved. There's so many people involved with Dan Sullivan in the HNS team and Scott Hovis, who did such great work with the state and the Bureau of Tourism, and Ron Kay, of course, the great Ron Kay, and Stiefel, that just seem to support everything St. Louis, you know. So, I mean, it's, you know, the term it takes a village. It took a village. We got everybody on board. We got our buddy Mark Travis and Nick Hamilton from Car Shielder supporting, and the list goes on and on and on.
I was with you when we found out that we were going to get another 3 years of the Ascension Charity Classic, and you were just emotional about it because it means so much to you and playing in your hometown, but more specifically playing the place where you grew up, which is Norwood Hills in North County, and those great agencies that deserve our attention and our money's going there, the charities that are involved. So it's a big deal to have 3 more years.
It really is, Danny. It's, you know, being a golf nerd, golf geek, whatever thing you want to throw on there, it's not hard to get excited about. But the real thing is the community. The real winner is the community. It's the super cool event for sports fans and sportsmen and sportswomen to come out and see. But for the most part, it's about community. It's about the charities. It's about raising this vital funds to try to change some lives and to try to enhance the community. And that's what anybody that supports this thing is signing off on and to do. And you know, you look at the Bureau of Tourism, you look at Stiefel, and you know, these guys are always there when there's that ask, you know, and we've got Enterprise involved to a degree. We've got CarShield, as I mentioned. We've got Marcone. We've got a lot of the St. Louis companies that have stepped up and come to the plate, and I'm proud. I'm proud of it. You know, it's not only Norwood, which is cool, but the North County area. That's where I grew up, and it still needs lots of help, and we still need to stay involved, and we still need to try to help our people out, man.
I can't imagine a player being more involved in an event than what you are with the Ascension. You know, playing is one thing, and you played the last couple of days. You'll finish up today, which is great. Yeah. You got the exemption. It's awesome. You're playing. But this has meant more to you about the event as a whole and what it means, as you said, to the community. This is very near and dear to your heart. This is something very important to you.
Oh, Danny, I don't know how, like I've told you, it's how there could have been anything better. I don't know how. I mean, I just don't know how it could have happened. If you said to me, create something in golf that would check all your boxes, this is exactly what I would have done. It would have been the same thing. I mean, you hosted the and so beautifully emceed the pairings party
yeah.
on Tuesday. We got our great future governor Mike Keogh and his wife Claudia there supporting the event, and it's just there's support coming from all over the place, and Norwood has put up a great show, man. They've really done a great job. We got to thank, and we'll tip our cap to the Norwood staff when we do that later. But Brandon Smith and the golf professionals, the outside staff, Mike Knoll, the golf course superintendent, and his staff. I mean, we've been watching this build up and the build out, Danny, and the build up has been crazy. Watching them get bigger and bigger, and then to see it filled with people and people enjoying themselves and all of that. To enhance the community, man. It's a win-win.
Let's go back this week and what it was like for you, and take us kind of pull the curtain back a little bit, and for the average fan out there, and we invite you, come on out today. You'll see a show, the Ascension Charity Classic, and tickets at ascensioncharityclassic.com. But you had 3 pro-ams to play in. We had the challenge yesterday. We had obviously 2 rounds of golf. You got some of the biggest names in the history of the game. So it all really kicked off for you basically Tuesday at the pairings party, that kind of thing, and then away it went.
Yeah, we did a pro-am on the East Golf Course on Tuesday, which was super cool. I got to play with a great group from Ascension. And again, this is still Ascension's party. It's the last year of it. By the way, and I was remiss not to mention, Ascension's still involved. And Liz and that team over there at Ascension, and Eric and all of our friends over there, Danny, again, hats off to them for sticking with us. We know that they've had a really, really tough time business-wise since the pandemic, and things have not come back the way they had hoped. But they started this thing, and we probably wouldn't have ever got here without them starting it, and so we're grateful for them. And, so we played a Pro-Am on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday morning I was one of the first off. 740 West Course is just in beautiful shape. The weather, it's almost like San Diego weather out this week.
Really nice.
It's crazy. I mean, do you ever think you'd see guys wearing a sweater in the morning
right.
in August and early September in St. Louis? But we had a great day on Wednesday, and then Thursday afternoon I played late, 150 or 140, something like that. But for me, it's cool. You get to see the golf course because in the week, Danny, the golf course keeps changing and progressing a little bit. So you get to see it in the morning, you get to see it in the afternoon. And so it's a spectacular day. Club 314, when you look out there, it's everybody's having a great time. We got big screens out there. We got college football. It's just a big party. It's just a big community party.
You mentioned how the course changes, and I think people would say, now, wait a minute, how does it change throughout the week and in particular in a day? How does that happen? What, from your vantage point, what do you see?
Well, in the morning, there's much it's usually moisture, a little softer, a little wet, a little dewy, and then in the afternoon it can get dry, and it definitely changes the green speeds to a degree. Now, what happens at Norwood, Mike does such a phenomenal job. I don't know any other course that is included as a venue on the Champions Tour where that golf course doesn't shut down at least a week prior. And at Norwood, we had members playing straight up until last Sunday. So the last possible day they could have played, they were playing there. And then you look at so Danny, the rough will grow a little bit.
Yeah.
If you get overnight rains, it changes the texture of the sand. All those things, they're just little bitty things, but they matter. And when you don't play a lot like I used to play all the time, and now doing what I do now, it's fun to watch. I'm more aware of that stuff. Not necessarily. I wish I would have been more aware of it when I was younger, but I just had so much on my plate to try to keep this thing all rolling. But it's the event's fantastic. I can't wait to hear how much money we raise this year. And, and the fact, Danny, that you and I get to be part of this thing for another 3 years. I mean, listen, you give me a lot of kudos. You have done, I don't know, countless how many commercials. I don't know how many emceeing gigs. You emceed the celebrity shootout for the second year in a row, and that's like hurting 20 cats.
Right.
I mean, that is like, it's super fun, especially anytime you have prongs. The great Hall of Famer Chris Pronger playing. But, it's just awesome to see that many people come out for the shootout. And I thought the theme this year was cool. The, Mizzou versus the Lou, and hats off to Drake and what they're doing down in Columbia Mo right now. I mean, it's pretty dang exciting. So, Danny, I was thinking about this on the way over here, and I know I already texted you this, but we'll tell the listeners. Think about what golf in St. Louis looks like in the next 5 years. Because we've got this Ascension Charity Classic in 2024, and then it's guaranteed to go 25, 26, and 27. We've got the BMW Championship coming here to St. Louis in the 26th. And then we have the dang President's Cup coming in 2030. So that's probably 6 years. But the next 6 years are historical for St. Louis.
Yes, they are. And also a historic day on Friday, which was the Folds of Honor Friday, which is the first time that we've seen that at the Ascension Charity Classic. But we haven't seen that in professional golf. That was something that was new. The national anthem before sporting events, we see it every single night, every single day. Hadn't seen it in golf until Friday morning.
I know. Danny, think about how I bet all the great games that you've called. You've won 4 Emmys in broadcasting. And that national anthem, it's just the right thing to do to start something so important or fun or meaningful, and I think it's been a miss for golf, and we love Folds of Honor. They support the show, and Dan Rooney's going to be coming on the show as soon as he can find a little hole in his schedule, and I think it's fantastic. And with that Folds of Honor, Danny, we got 13 scholarships, individual scholarships for men and women here in town because of that idea and that relationship with Folds of Honor.
One of the things that I noticed in reading some of the comments and then just being around the event the last couple of days, the players raving about the golf course. They think the golf course is in great shape, and they, as you said, it only shut down a week ago, Sunday night. That's when it shut down to the members in Norwood, and then it opened up for the play-ins and the various things that were going on, guys trying to qualify. But for the most part, they let this thing go in a good way, and it is just in great shape. And the players noted that as they went around the last couple of days.
Absolutely. Indeed. I honked Norwood like crazy, but you described those fairways. I mean, we looked at each other the other day and we're like, what?
It's crazy.
I mean, there's not a bad lie to be had in those fairways. It's just amazing.
It's amazing, and they've done a remarkable job. You had a chance to play a week ago, though, from today at Norwood, and the pins weren't very easy, were they?
Oh, my gosh. So so the PGA Tour came in and talked to Mike Nolan and said to the staff, I want you to make sure you put the flag sticks and hole locations in a place that we won't use them. Well, they took it to heart. Oh, my gosh. The 17th, they stuck it right in the side of the hill.
It was pretty tough.
Oh, yeah. It's like we couldn't get off there unless you made a 6-footer. You just keep putting. Our buddy Joe putted and putted and
kept
putted and putted. Yeah. So it was, I'd never seen anything like it. It was interesting.
Let's tip our cap, and we're going to tip our cap to the good folks at Norwood.
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, we're going to start off with Brandon Smith, and we've got
head professional at
Norwood.
Norwood.
And we've got we've got John Wright, who's in charge of membership. We've got Dane McLaird, who's the general manager of the club. We've also got Kyle and Matt and Will and oh gosh, and you know what?
Support staff.
Those are all the professional staff. I want to give a shout out to Jody D. She is our female instructor, and she's not feeling well right now. So we're sending her our love and best wishes and hope for a speedy recovery because we know that she's been down and we're thinking of her. But also, Danny, just the outside, Mike Nolan, his staff, we want to tip our cap to. It's such a group effort, and they've done such a great job. And the hospitality, the membership, giving up the golf course, filling up the volunteer staff, running a lot of the volunteers and the staffs that they've done. It's just remarkable. The tip of the cap, it's brought to you by Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. And call Colin Byrne over there, guys. He is a great guy. His number is 314-966-0303. Colin will treat you like family. It says Dean Team Volkswagen. He can get you anything. I'm driving a a GMC right now. My daughter's on her third or fourth, whatever that is. And Pearlie's driving a Toyota truck. So Colin's a great guy and a huge supporter of the show, and we appreciate that.
And again, the tip of the cap is brought to you by
the Dean Team, Volkswagen of Kirkwood. Thanks, Colin.
All right, we're continuing with Golf with Jay Delsing, getting into what happened on the PGA Tour. The FedEx champion has been crowned, and that's Scotty Scheffler. We'll dive into that. Also dive into a ruling, very interesting, that happened last week as well. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
That was On the Range. Up next, we'll head to the front nine. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Doherty Business Solutions.
Doherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Doherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Doherty Business Solutions.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's greatest names: Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Longer, Justin Leonard, David Toms, and more will compete returning September 3rd through the 8th. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com for information.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, this is Peter Jacobson, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
I'm delighted to welcome the Amateur Players Tour to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. The APT team has worked so hard to establish a national golf tour for amateurs. Folks, don't miss out on this opportunity. If you love golf and ever wondered what all the fuss about tournament golf is, then this tour is for you. We just released the 2024 schedule, and it is a beast. There's 21 events currently in the metropolitan St. Louis area, with many more to come. But check out these golf courses: Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Stonewolf, Ambrier, Persimmon Woods, Gateway National, and a 36-hole event on Norwood's West Course, and many more. Okay, so the courses are certainly cool and nice, but what's really neat is the way the events are run and how they are run. The APT team does a fantastic job of closely monitoring handicaps and ensuring a good and fair competition. There are 5 divisions, a year-long points competition, major championships, elevated events, and much, much more. Right now, there are over 6,000 members in 41 different local chapters across the country. And all that's happened in just over 5 years. Join now and don't miss out on the best tournament golf in the country, run for amateurs by amateurs themselves. Go to amateurplayerstour.com. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing. The Front Nine is presented by the Ascension Charity Classic. To find out more, visit ascensioncharityclassic.com.
Golf with Jay Delsing continues. Again, it's Ascension Charity Classic Sunday. Hopefully you're headed out to Norwood and enjoying a little golf talk on your way in. This is Dan McLaughlin alongside Jay Delsing. We'll have Frank Nobilo coming up. He is of CBS Sports, and he covered most of Scotty Scheffler this year. Scotty Scheffler dominates. He wins the FedEx Championship. No surprise there, Jay. He won, by the way, $62 million in earnings this year. Over $62 million.
What?
So that just hear this. This individual season would have put him 9th overall in career earnings, just this season alone. He deserves it. He was awesome, but $62+ million.
That is insane. I mean, Scotty had a great year. 7 wins. A gold medal. Now, here's what's interesting, Danny. The gold. How do we value a gold medal? Because it's you only have the opportunity to get it once every 4 years. Right?
I look at it. It put him over the top for the Player of the Year. So, which he would have gotten it anyway. But if you're looking at like Xander Schauffele and Scotty Scheffler, and you're saying, man, Schauffele wins 2 majors. How does that guy not win? The Player of the Year, and he's got the other 2 are top 10s, and he's in the top 5, it seems like, every single week. I could see you make a case for him, but you win the gold medal, that to me is what takes him over the top. Not sure if you agree, but that for me took him over. Is it another major? Is it like the Players? I look at it like this. It's like the Players Championship.
I agree, Danny. I mean, it's one of those things where when we went to and brought golf back into the Olympics in 2016, I was like, okay, this is cool. Is this going to stick? Does that sport belong in the Olympics? And I think after what happened in France this year and the responses, I don't think there's any question about it. But then trying to put its significance in place is, wow.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, it's once every 4 years, so it's even rarer than a major. It's only been around, though, for 8, but I guarantee you, if you were able to talk to Scotty, he'd be as proud of that as anything.
I would agree. How do you look at his season? I mean, is it one of the all-time greats? Is it there with Tiger? Is it there to compare with Jack in some of the great seasons he had? You played at that level. You know how tough it is just to win once on the PGA Tour, much less 7 times, and winning majors and winning another Masters, winning a gold medal. The pressure of social media today, is it even greater now? The money that's on the line. I mean, all these things are factors. I'm just curious where you would rank this season in terms of the ones that you've seen.
Well, Danny, I think we've got to go back. When I go back and look at unbelievable golf, I think of Tiger in 2000.
Absolutely.
He won over $10 million, the first to ever do this. Now, back when I was playing, Curtis Strange was the first guy to win over $1 million a year, and we were like, what? Because all the purses were $200,000 and $300,000 and $400,000 purses, total purses. But you've got to look at it. I mean, there's only one other person in the history of our game that's won 6 times before July. And that's Arnold Palmer in 1962. So we've got Scotty Scheffler knocking off 7 and a gold medal. I mean, it's right up there. I just pulled up the PGA Tour money list, and Scotty Scheffler ousted Xander Schauffele by almost $12 million.
It's incredible.
Almost, I mean, that's lapping. And so you look down, Danny, at the win column. Scheffler 7 wins, Scotty 2 wins. Now you got Matsuyama with 2 wins also, and Rory McIlroy knocked off 2 wins. But ironically, D, the only thing they're going to remember about McIlroy is he blew the U.S. Open.
Exactly. Let me throw this at you, okay? Career PGA Tour money of the following players. You ready?
Ready.
Jack Nicklaus, 5.7. Raymond Floyd, 5.8. Fuzzy Zeller, 5.9. Ted Potter, 6.1. Minwoo Lee, 5.6. Estimated money made by caddy Ted Scott this year, $6.2 million.
Oh, my gosh. That is unbelievable. I sent Teddy a text yesterday.
And for those who don't know, he is the caddy for
Scotty Scheffler. Yeah, he's been on the show twice. And
so you texted him?
I said, hey, Moneybags, nice going. And he got right back to me. And just an incredible guy. Can you imagine those? $6.2 million this year, looping, carrying a golf. That is truly crazy, remarkable.
Now, speaking of crazy, I thought this was nuts. I think you like it when I do these little deep dives.
I love this.
Okay.
Love it.
Golf, as we know, crazy game. Jordan Spieth won his first PGA Tour title in 2013. That was the same year that Scotty Scheffler won the U.S. Junior Amateur. Scheffler won his first PGA Tour title 9 years later. Scotty won this last weekend. They have the same number now of PGA Tour wins.
I know, I saw that.
Isn't that incredible?
Scotty Scheffler is the fastest guy in the history of our game to win 13 times.
That's incredible.
He beat Tiger Woods by over half a year. Danny, remember Scotty had that label. I can remember when we had the Ryder Cup up at Whistling Straits, and Scotty Scheffler was a captain's pick because they liked his temperament and they wanted to find someone they could pair with Bryson DeChambeau. And we absolutely waxed him. And I don't know if you recall, but Scotty Scheffler won his individual match. It was either against Rory or Rahm, who was one of their top guys, and Scotty took him down. And if you look at his ascent, he had a tough time knocking that first win off. And since then, to say the floodgates have opened, Danny, it's unfair to flooding.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it justice. I mean, what in the heck? 7 wins in a year. Danny, he had 16 top 10 finishes in 19 events.
He doesn't seem like the guy that's going to become complacent either. No. He competes at such a high level, and there is a fire in him. And I know this is all cliche, but a fire that burns in him that maybe is unique to him as opposed to others. Now, he's not the kind of guy that rants and raves and throws his club and is hitting microphones next to the tee box. We don't see him do that very often. I saw him flip his putter one time this year, and it actually made a mark in the green. I was shocked that it happened with Scotty Scheffler. He's very even keel, but man, there is a fire in that guy because you don't win like that, Jay, unless you've got a burning desire to win.
100%, D. We talk about this all the time, and I never, ever thought I'd see that fire, the same fire that burned in Tiger Woods, burned that brightly, that strongly in another player for a long, long time. And then all of a sudden, Scotty comes up, and he's got an entirely different demeanor, Danny. He's kind of funny. I mean, did you hear he's in the doing his presser last week when he wins at Atlanta and wins the Tour Championship, and he shanked the ball out of the bunker on number 8, and a reporter goes, "How'd you shank that ball?" And Scotty goes, "Well, the golf club is built like, right. and he said, this little area right over here, that's where you hit it when you shank it." And then everybody kind of realized, like, nice question, bro. But
exactly.
Anyway, but he made fun of himself, and he doesn't seem to. He's so even keel. Danny, look what happened at Valhalla. I mean, he gets arrested. This guy probably doesn't even have a speeding ticket. He gets arrested and follows it up with a 66 or 67.
I want to get into that with Frank Nobilo and his perspective of following him just about every week, what it was like, and he'll be our guest coming up next segment. I teased this going to the break, but Sahith Theegala took a 2-stroke penalty for brushing sand at the Tour Championship, called it on himself. Not even the cameras caught it, Jay, and it cost him $2.5 million. That is the essence of what golf is all about. When you call a penalty on yourself, the cameras can't even catch it, and it winds up costing him $2.5 million.
You know what, Danny? It's my hat's off to Sahith. And first of all, I love having him on the PGA Tour. I don't care about your nationality and all that stuff, but having someone, he's an Indian American. He was born here. His parents are from India. He went to Pepperdine. He's had an amazing college career, and he's come right out on tour, and he is just tearing it up. And I love watching him play because he's an athletic kid. He's powerful. He's also got a good sense of humor, and he calls that penalty on himself, and I'm like, I can remember slowing down my TV and looking, and I'm like, I am not seeing it. And Danny, had this happen to me. So here's what typically happens. When you'll either get someone on the TV will call, or something will look odd. When the year that Brittany Lang won the U.S. Open, I was on the Fox digital side calling as her lead analyst. And Brittany Lang was playing with Anna Norquist coming down the stretch, and they were up in California. And on the 17th fairway, Nordquist hit her drive in the fairway bunker, Danny. And as she's standing up over the ball, I went, and I was with Shane Bacon, and I said, Shane, and I used the quiet button. I said, I think she just grounded her club in the bunker. And it was, Danny, it's when something like that happens as a pro, it's almost like a flare goes off. It's so odd, and it just jumps off the screen at you, and you're like, oh my gosh, that is so weird. And so the process is this: you finish, or the tour staff will come out to you, the rule staff will come out to you, and they will show you on a monitor, you need to look at this. Like Anna waited till she was finished because it was on the 17th hole. And this happened to me when I was playing down in Memphis on the 15th hole one time, and Slugger White came in to me and said, hang on, man, don't sign your scorecard. We need you to come over to the rules trailer and look at this. We might have a problem. And I'm like, what happened? What did I do? Because you can inadvertently break a rule and not be aware of it. You could step on some, there's a lot you can do. And he said it was on the 15th green. And I'm like, 15th green. I'm like, I wasn't even on the green. I did it just over the green, and I had a putt for birdie just off the green. I think I shot 63 that day, Danny. I had a really good day. And anyway, so we go back in there, and I'm like, Slugger, we got to enlarge this and slow it on down. And we looked at it. And the same thing with this thing with Sahith. So I couldn't tell a thing. With my situation in Memphis, I finally said to Slugger, I don't see it. If you see it and you think it moved, I'll take the penalty, but I don't see it. And I don't remember it at all happening live. So with Thigala, we looked at that, Danny, and looked at it, and we couldn't see anything. And I think the rules officials even said, man, we don't see it.
So what would happen if he comes in and they did see it, and all of a sudden you're 5 holes away from that particular moment in the round? What happens after that if they did pick something up on television?
Yeah, it's as long as he doesn't sign a scorecard, he'll add 2 strokes to a score. It'll be fine. Actually, now, even if you do sign your scorecard, they changed that rule that if there's some issue, you don't get disqualified. The old days, they just bounced you right out of the tournament and you got disqualified. But you don't, and that's a way better rule this way than the old way. But he was left to his own device there, and he said, you know what, I think something moved, something was weird, and he doesn't want to have that, floating around in his head. And
you don't want to be Patrick Reed here.
You do not want to be Patrick Reed, and that's remarkable that he did that. It makes me even like him more, Danny.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. This is Ascension Charity Classic Sunday on Golf with Jay Delsing. And coming up, Frank Nobilo from CBS Sports. He'll be our guest. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
That was the front nine. Up next, we'll make the turn. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by CarShield.
Are you tired of watching your golf scores go up every year? Despite new equipment and even a couple lessons, you still fight that slice or your inability to get that ball up and down out of the bunker? Well, get ready to experience better golf with Elevate Golf. At Elevate Golf, we're changing the way golfers practice with our innovative and data-driven approach to learning and, most importantly, improving. We have an array of membership options where you can find the perfect fit for your golf, your lifestyle, and your budget. Whether you start in our full-service gym the short game area that has real sand bunker, or one of our 7 TrackMan simulator bays, the team at Elevate Golf will do a complete assessment of you and your game, which is crucial because if you don't know where you're starting from, it's nearly impossible to attain a goal or a new level. Call us today at 636-265-0557 or visit us at elevategolf.com. That's ELV, the number 8, golf.com. Contact us today and get ready to play better golf.
This is Chris Nagel. And you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, any make or model, then you need to visit the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They are the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. My daughter and I both drive vehicles supplied by Colin and the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, and it's because we know we can trust them. They made the car buying experience painless and easy, and their customer service is second to none. Every single step of the car buying experience was taken care of for us. You can reach Colin at 314-966-0303, and he will answer all of your questions and put your mind at ease. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood has new or pre-owned vehicles to be purchased or leased, whichever you prefer. Once you visit the Dean Team Volkswagen on Manchester in Kirkwood, you'll be a customer for life because they will treat you like family. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, I'm Adam Betts, PGA professional and owner at Family Golf and Learning Center. We welcome golfers of all ages and abilities, from the junior golfer to the experienced players. From our indoor TrackMan simulators, large short game area, grass tees, and driving range bays, to our golf instruction, leagues, clinics, and camps, we connect you with every resource to reach your golfing goals. We look forward to helping you improve your golf game at Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf. Visit us at familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com.
I am delighted to welcome Folds of Honor to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney and his team donate 91% of all funds directly to these scholarships. And oh, by the way, to date, 52,000 of these life-changing scholarships have been awarded since 2007. 45% of those 52,000 scholarships have been awarded to minority recipients. So join the Folds of Honor team today and donate at foldsofhonor.com.
This is Making the Turn. Making the Turn is presented by Family Golf and Learning Center. For the kids and adults who love the game of golf, look no further than Family Golf and Learning Center. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Golf with Jay Delsing, along with Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and a chance to welcome in Frank Nobilo, longtime player on the PGA Tour, commentator with CBS Sports, and always great to visit with him. Frank, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. I got the wrong telephone number. I should start off with that. So thanks for still having me on.
Oh, it's perfect for this show. A couple weeks back, I said Phil Mickelson, I don't know how many wins he had, 46, 44, 48. And I get all these emails knobs. I'm like, look, nobody cares except his wife and maybe him. I certainly don't. And I know most of you listeners don't either. And they're like, yeah, that's kind of true.
Yeah, no, but every play, it's very, very personal, no matter what the sport is. I think, as you get a little older, I know Phil is getting closer to retirement. I think, you think back more about those things. So, we're lucky we both played in that era. I thought it was a great era. The Tiger Woods, Phil, a lefty and a righty, two totally different types of player. Collectively, they should get a lot of credit for pushing the game. They took the mantle from the Normans, the Faldos, the Curtis Strangers, the previous generation who'd taken it from the Nicklauses and the Palmers. And I actually thought, 10 years ago, golf was in a great spot.
I love where you're going with this. Let's just jump in because I wanted to talk about your career. We'll go back to that. But when you think about this, Frank, we've got the two best players on the PGA Tour in the last 25 years, Tiger and Phil, have brought more eyeballs and more drama and more everything to the game. I mean, it's a double-edged sword completely.
Yeah, it is. We saw, I believe, the best golf I've ever seen. And I was looking at it the other day, Tiger 2000. And I know you can get it, you can't just say 2000 without talking about equipment as well. But he pushed the bar so high. And I think that year, too, topped $10 million, which was unheard of. You go back to 1988, Curtis Strange was the first guy to make $1 million in a season on the PGA Tour. And then Phil was the guy that really, sort of upped the ante. And I love the dichotomy there. I'll go back to the lefty and the righty, the different type of image, the fact that, too, about the draw system, they would never get paired until the weekend. And even then, that was a struggle on Saturday because our headliners, one would go in the morning one day, and whoever went in the morning, the other one went in the afternoon for TV. And then Saturday, because they played on different sides of the draw, even if they were on the same score, often they wouldn't be paired together. So we were lucky if we got to see them on a Sunday together. And when they did happen, it was just wonderful. It really was. And then throwing, obviously Ernie, VJ, some guys. And I think when you look at this young generation of players now who are brilliant, I love the way they play. They learned so much from those guys. Phil's creativity, Phil pushed the equipment for lefties, and, the 60-degree became standard pretty much because of Phil and John Daly. And then a lot of guys try to copy the Tiger Woods mental approach, physicality, gym work, all that. I thought they passed the game over extremely well.
Frank, then how would you, advancing the story here, how would you describe Scotty Scheffler and what you see out of him on a daily basis?
Incredible, Dan. This year, and I mentioned 2000 because I never thought, and we always say that in sport, it's a bit like tennis right now, the big three, Djokovic losing early at the US Open, you're like, well, that's an end of an era. We'll never see that again. And then before your eyes, somebody does something remarkable. I thought, and I'm on record with it, until equipment stabilizes, I didn't think we'd see one guy dominate. And the reason why is that the way golf is going, equipment-wise, and apart from the fact that it's expensive, is there's different ways to plug a gap in your game. If you're a bad long-run player, then you grab the hybrid. Now obviously that we're moving back to sort of fairway woods, 5 woods and 7 woods, even 9 woods for some players. A lot of the pros don't carry anything longer iron-wise than a 4-iron now. So they're all working their 4 clubs differently. And, the golf courses are quite similar. They sort of narrowed the fairway rough, bunkers in the rough, which I don't always like. And so when you have this sort of moving sphere, it's normally very hard for someone just to stand out. And he stood out, go back last year, with being a fairly ordinary putter, which I didn't think would be possible in today's time. And he took the criticism well and linked up with Phil Kenyon. And he just putts, average to a little bit better than average, which is still good. And then it put him in a different stratosphere. This year is just incredible. It's up there. Maybe not quite Tiger Woods 2000, but it's the next best thing in my book because you have to throw in the Olympic gold. If golf does belong in the Olympics, and, I spoke against that, when it first went to Rio, but if golf really does belong in the Olympics, which I think it does now because they did a great job in France, then the fact that it's every 4 years, that's got to be worth a major, at minimum. So you throw that in with his year, and it's just simply remarkable.
Scott, what amazes me, Frank, about Scotty Scheffler is the eye test. I remember watching, when I started, phasing out of playing, I loved watching the best players play and swing and try to pick up on stuff. And his swing and his footwork it's almost confusing. But Frank, his compete level, I never thought I'd see a compete level that would come close to Tiger. But I got to tell you, I think Chef's right there.
Yeah, and he does it differently. Tiger had the ability to minimize damage. If he was struggling with the driver, he would go and he'd have a different game plan. He was Nicklaus-like, right? They could change it on the fly, and that's such a remarkable talent, that alone. So Scotty's different. Scotty literally is the closest thing to Iron Byron. Doesn't look like Iron Byron to your description, But he did come unstuck. I know I got criticized for it, but he was slipping at Pebble Beach, when Wyndham Clark shot 60 and 1. And I remember saying on air, like, he's slipping, and people going, like, what are you talking about? He always slips. But, if you look at his swing from, basically from the start of the swing, the top of the swing, it is Nicklaus-like. And then it's so stable into the hitting area. He and Randy Smith, they did such a good job. Randy doesn't get enough credit because when Scheffler grew, at 6 or 7 inches in a year, it was some crazy amount. He just told them to be patient. They didn't change anything. So, they have their own set of fundamentals, but it's very stable until impact. Then after that, he's like, I don't know, he's a cross between Simona Biles and Torval and Dean or something on ice. It's crazy afterwards. But yeah, and the sound, you've heard it, Jay, too, and been out there. It's such a solid hit. And he I know he shanked one the other day, but it was a bunker. But I just got to say that just to be mean, but because he very rarely misses the middle of the bat. It's a wonderful sound, and his distance control. There's a touch of Faldo in there. Faldo prided himself, a bit like Johnny Miller, and always being nearly better than a yard. Faldo did half yards. Johnny with Andy Martinez often said they try to work in feet sometimes. But, Scotty gets TrackMan out, and he literally calls the ball in the air to the yard. And this is 133. This is 177. And so often he's right. I mean, you have distance control. You can play every single week. It doesn't matter where they stick flags or whatever. Yeah, it's a remarkable – and he's a good man. And he's quietly funny.
I'd like to see that. We don't see enough of that. I guess behind the scenes, Frank, you get a chance to see some of those things.
Yeah, well, just the other day, last night, he was asked, like, how did you shank it? And it was completely deadpan, and he sort of holds his hand up like it's a golf club. Excuse me, and he goes, well, the golf club's got a sort of a square face, and there's a little round piece where the shaft goes in. He said, the ball hit that. And then the guy realized it was a really lame question, right?
Sure.
So, he's incredibly approachable in a time where stars are stars, especially with the amount of money they make. He won't shut you down. Like if he's walking to the range, he just has that ability to not be overawed about anything. And, Valhalla, I don't know how he could have just gone to the golf course. Obviously, it was a terrible accident, the bus fatality, and then Scotty gets picked up going to jail. It's been a crazy year when it probably would have derailed most people, either the highs that he set or the lows that he set. Somewhere along the line, you think it would have been very natural for him to derail him, but just took every single thing, whether it's good or bad, in his stride, and that is another talent.
Frank Nobilo is our guest, and you see him every week on CBS. He's with the tour every single week, just about every single week. When it's not on CBS, I'm sure he's watching. So, Frank, you'd be the perfect guy to ask about this, which is just the state of the game. In a general sense, where do you think golf is right now and growing the game? You've got the live aspect of things, too, but you've got all these young faces now coming up with the PGA Tour. You have a dominant face in Scotty Scheffler. Just your thoughts on where the state of the game is right now.
The easy answer is uncertainty. That's easy. If you wanted to be really mean, then you've got to go and say, I don't know, in a board meeting, if it would happen in any other country, in any other company, you would go into that meeting and there would be a vote of confidence for your commissioner, one way or the other, because it would stop all the innuendo. Either Jay would pass the test or he wouldn't. And I think it starts there. Boeing, for example, when they had their issue there, the CEO loses his job. And I'm not necessarily saying I'm calling for Jay's head, but I think there has to be a decision at the top whether we're 100% behind you, and I'm talking about all the players, either that or we're not. And I think it starts there because we all read the same stuff, and there's just this, well, we'll know when we know, and we'll know when we know, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. I realize the game has been disabled by Liv. The game has also been disabled by the amount of money that they're playing for. Now, some people would say it's a different demographic. Well, you can paint it whichever way you want it. But like I said, Curtis Strange, first guy to pass $1 million. I think it was 1988. Tiger Woods has a banner year, 2000, $10 million or thereabouts. I think it was Jordan Spieth in 2015 that took it to 12 million. Look what they're getting this year, you know. And I know the tour doesn't want to talk about money, but that's what's keeping the players happy. And that's what, when the PGA Tour goes into a locker room, they you know, the designated events, they're saying that to that. We in TV are sort of kept away from some of those conversations. You know, I'm so proud of the teams that I work with, whether it's Golf Channel and CBS, trying to deliver the product week in, week out. Because I promise you, every man, woman, and child, you know, same as PGA Tour entertainment, you know, you're trying to do the best thing, but the line in the sand keeps changing. You know, cuts are really important. No cuts now. You know, Liv has 54 players. Signature events, 70 players. That's only 16 players more. And it's like, you know, we keep changing those lines. So I know the talk on the street is it's about the fans. Well, if you really listen to the fans aren't happy. And then TV gets blamed for commercial. Well, TV strikes a check for about $700 million every year. So, and they're never invited to any of those meetings. Now, I'm speaking on my behalf, not on the behalf of Golf Channel or CBS or anything like that. This is just my opinion. And I really think that's where you have those moments where you go into a meeting with the players and you go, and some truths have to be told. Players like Rory will 1 minute, you know, trying to follow the line of you know, what the tour was, why signature events were important, and why it was, you know, important to get those players together. And then all of a sudden, a year later, he's like, well, you know, this is just a mess as well. So when we listen to the best players, Scotty Scheffler saying, well, hang on, you know, it's a season-long race. I basically won the season. Why do we have to have the other three events? So even in amongst the players, there is that uncertainty. So I think if you're a fan or a lover of the game, you just need some sort of consistency, and that's what's lacking. It had been there for so long. You know, Dean Beeman, after Jodo, did a phenomenal job of the PGA Tour. It was the envy of, you know, I grew up in New Zealand, played in Australasia. I'm proud of that. Went to Asia, played in the European Tour for, you know, like 15, 16 years. I was proud to play there. The goal was to come to the PGA Tour. We were all envious of the way in which it was done. I'm very curious. I mean, the guy you should have on is Dean Beeman. I'd like to know what he would do in this situation.
It's really interesting, Frank, because what we've created, I just see this as such a mess. The tour has created an even bigger have and have not system, even with our sponsors, you know, because we have the major championships, which will always be them. And then we've got playoff events. Now we've got elevated events. I mean, we have run so many great partners out of the game, i.e. Shell Oil Company, for example. They've been doing Shell's Wonderful World of Golf, supporting golf way before we were born. And I mean, it's just insane. I don't know. You know, Jay Monahan having Tiger come on was probably the smartest thing he's ever done to try to save his own neck, because there was so much of a mutinous sort of attitude with the players. And I know that Tiger, for good or bad, has helped stabilize that.
I hope so. You know, I'm not privy to that. We don't hear. You know, we just get snippets. You know, people think that, you know, because you work so closely to the sport, that you're privy to a lot of stuff. You're not. You know, the guys that are in that board, and that board has changed, even the number of people that are involved. But you know, sometimes you're in a business or whatever, you can be too close to it. So if you're a player and you're out there playing every single week, and you have rabbit ears, right? You hear what the people around you are saying. Sometimes you need that, that sort of 1,000-foot view of the game and where it is. And it is a world game. And players that gravitate, and also, you know, people, you know, on one hand, you hear the players saying they want to play around the world. No, athletes are lazy too. I know they work hard and all that, but, you know, they'd love to play in their backyard. Everybody would. I mean, that's why a lot of the foreign players that have come to the PGA Tour, you know, they stop playing, or they don't play so much at home because you get spoiled. It's great. It's easier to travel. You don't need to get your passport out. But then, you know, when something else comes about, they won't tell the truth about that. So, but you know, when you elevate the view and look down at the game, that confusion, I think you need some calm heads. I understand, you know, with Liv's involvement, it's not exactly the easiest thing. Nobody could have predicted that in sport. Tennis is going through it right now. They're trying to handle it differently. At least they picked up the phone. And but you owe it to the people. And you mentioned the sponsors. I mean, they really have dipped in hard. We have a great game. We really do. The Pro-Am was a huge part of it. Where I say was, Pro-Am used to be 18 holes. Now it's 9 holes with one pro and 9 holes with another. And a lot of the times the pros aren't spending the time with the sponsors. That should also be, looked at by the tour. Slow play should be looked at the tour. That it's at the moment, the way I look at it, it's about keeping the players happy to their detriment, to be honest. Sometimes, as a kid, being when you grow up, your parents tell you some home truths, and that's how you learn. And I just think that they're not being fed the full view, the 1,000-foot view, exactly what's going on.
So here's something completely. Well, I love your commentary on this because it's great. And you do such a great job week in and week out. But let's advance this story too. Just the rollback of the golf ball itself and some of the rule changes with that, and how you think it may affect, if at all, the players on the PGA Tour.
Hey, the players adjust. As I said, each generation they get better. There's a marketing point of view. So the TaylorMades, the Titleists of the world or whatever, then they've got a product to protect. I get that, but they shouldn't run the game, right? They build the equipment. So we have all these golf courses which members pay for, and a lot of the places where we have tournaments are on member venues. We can't expect members and clubs to keep lengthening golf courses. I remember being in Chicago last year, the amount of times we walked from the players had to walk from a green back to a tee some 80 yards. Golf used to be a game where the way a course was designed, you walked off the green and pretty much onto the next tee. That's why you could play so quickly. Now, just adding 80 yards, that's 80 yards there, 80 yards back to where you were. That just adds time to the game. People don't have, 5.5, 6 hours to play. It's lucky they have 4 or 5. So we have to keep the game in that sphere. Otherwise, eventually what's going to happen, golf will just be like a 9-hole sport for the recreational player. It will take too long and it'll be too hard. So I think if the truth is told to the recreational player, and you had a ball that maybe didn't go as far, went back to more normal, it's not like, I think the people have to be told the ball has advanced. Right? It's not like you're losing yardage. It's that you were given yardage. Every player's been given another 20 or 30 yards. So they're all the same, really. So it's just like a head start. We're going to do a 100-meter race, but we're going to start at the 70-meter line. That's pretty much what's happened. So there has to be – people have to look at it and go, how do you – protect is the wrong word. How do you put the game on the right track where – players can enjoy it at every level, and it can still be a great sport at the highest level. And it's not that far off, but some people have to go, I think it's the right thing to do. And players will take it on the chin eventually, and it will hurt for some. You go, I'm going to all of a sudden I'm going to hit the ball 290, 300 yards, as they say. But, all these great venues that you'll still be able to go back to. Otherwise, we're going to finish up with basically dedicated professional golf courses. And we'll lose that link between the recreational golfer and the professional golfer that has always been, so good in our sport.
Frank, I love what you said. I want to go back to the tour player, and there's certain guys that just have a different approach than other players. There's certain pros that you almost cringe when you roll them out and let them play in a pro-am because of the way they interact with people. Maybe they're shy, maybe they're whatever. But you can only have the inmates run the asylum to such a degree before this thing careens completely out of control. Do you see any sort of way that we get the live players back and we somehow unite this thing in the next, 2 or 3 years?
Well, the easy answer is, you involve them. Like if that's really the goal, and you go, okay, and like I said, if that really is the goal, that you want them to get back, then you have to do the deal, right? You can't have it both ways. It's like buying a house. I want to sell my house for more than it's worth, and you want to buy it for less than it's worth. So you got to meet in the middle, right? And in the end, I'm going to feel like I didn't get as much, and you're going to feel like you maybe paid a little bit more than you want. So neither one of us are really happy, but we actually get a deal. You get the house, and I get to sell it. So in this situation, yeah, there has to be a little bit of give and take, because my biggest fear, it's not a fear really. I am surprised that Liv didn't buy the European Tour, to be honest, because it was already, DP World Tour. It was already a semi-global tour. It went down to Australasia. It went through Asia. It already existed. And if that was the case, then it sort of would have gone back to what golf was like in the 80s, when the European Tour was quite strong. You had the big, you had the big five over there, Ballesteros, Langer, Lyle, Wisdom, Olazabal, and Felder. Big six, is it? My math is wrong again, I think. Yeah. 5, 6. There was a lot of good players anyway. That's when they started winning the Ryder Cups as well, and and because of that, they produced a lot of good players, and the prize money imbalance wasn't as great as what it was like a decade later, and obviously now there's no comparison. So it became desirable for a lot of European players to play in America. You got to, like I said, it was tough. The European Tour, I think, have felt like they've given a lot more than they've taken. And I think the PGA Tour has taken a lot more than they've given, to be honest. So there would have to be a come to the plate, and the tour would feel like it's losing out. And I feel like they don't want to do it. But then they might gain something that's going to put the game perhaps in a better spot. I've always said, look what Aramco has done with Formula One. You help in the advertising. TV has to pay that bill. I mentioned the $700 million. That doesn't happen by accident. So if all of a sudden you have someone that's prepared to come in and hey, the next hour is presented to you by Aramco or whatever, then that is a huge win. That is a win for the fan. That is, but that has to be has to be a change in philosophy for a start, and you have to accept the fact that neither one they're both going to lose, and Living's going to get what it wants, and the PGA Tour is not going to get what it wants. That's the only way that you get a deal. It's
a slippery slope, isn't it, Frank? Because our measurables in the other part, in the amateur side of the game have never been stronger. I know Top Golf is struggling from a financial standpoint, but they have been bringing people into the game. You got Pop Stroke, you've got these sim leagues, you've got so many different opportunities for players, and then you look at for people to come into the game and enjoy it and listen to music and have a cocktail and whatever they need to do. And then you look at the pro game and it's like they're tone deaf and they're not paying attention to the fans. And it's, the more this drags out to me, the more fearful I am that there's going to be something catastrophic that's going to throw us back. And maybe that's what we need. I don't know.
Yeah, no, well said, Jay. I wish I could steal those lines, really. But no, you're right. I think the amateur game, I was really worried about it. When COVID hit, not to get into the political side of that at all, I'm like, this really might hurt golf. But on the flip side, it was the only way people could get out. And a lot of people fell in love with the game again because it literally was just about them and their friends. It wasn't about the professional side of the game. It was purely amateurs enjoying golf again. And it was a relief to get outside because I've always believed that golf guarantees you a park. So I know, it's a green zone. It really is, right? So you've got 120 plus acres. It's paradise. I know it's a very exclusive game. It's an expensive game. I've always thought that too. I think public golf is extremely important. There's not enough of that, because you got to get people in. I always thought that was also the deficiency of the First Tee program. I thought the First Tee program we sort of developed a viewer, not a golfer, because a lot of those people that went to the First Tee couldn't afford to be members of clubs afterwards. So the program stopped. We're going to somehow, once we develop those players, get them into playing, whether it's through they're good amateurs and they get a break on the club or something. You can't just develop viewers, in my opinion, through a program like that. It's got to be more. But yeah, through COVID, we got a lot of people that fell in love with the game. And the amateur game, I have members where I live at Lake Nona. They're out there in droves. They're complaining about like the tee-off times are always booked again now. Because people want to play, and you're right. They play differently than you and I did. Yeah, they have a boom box. I don't even know if you call it a boombox these days, playing music.
You dated yourself big time there, buddy. I love it.
Hey, at least I didn't say VHS tape or something like that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
and they're listening to music, and might be the music I listen to either, but
Yeah.
and yeah, they have a couple of cocktails, and they have a great day. And it's about people being, I mean, look at life right now. There's enough anger out there right now. So just to have people with a few dollars on the side together for 4 or 5 hours and then reminiscing afterwards, that's pretty good if you do that once or twice a week. I mean, that's a good life. So yeah, amateurs, we should be very, very proud of amateur golf and not forget that too. And when they tune in, that's the people we want to talk to. I know at CBS, when we're trying to give the best pictures we can and all that, we're talking to golfers a lot of the times too. So, or most of the time. So we know they know their stuff.
Hey, Frank, this has been awesome. Thank you so.
Oh,
we were
man,
going to
we
ask you
could
about your
keep
career. We were
going
going to
and
do all these.
going, yeah.
Now you took us down a rabbit hole. So we're going in a different direction with the rest of the show. So thanks for doing that too.
Hey, no worries. I like going down a rabbit hole. Speaking of that, I have my little puppy. He's a Cavapoo. He heard the word rabbit, so now he wants to chase it. So, yeah.
Thanks, Frank, for doing this. We appreciate it very much.
Hey, keep it up.
You got it. Frank Nobilo from CBS Sports, and this is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Making the Turn was brought to you by Pro-Am Golf. See what Pro-Am Golf can do for you. Up next, we head to the back nine. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Recently, my nephew called me and said his basement had flooded and all the hardwood, carpet, and flooring had to be replaced. I told him I have the perfect place for you to go. At Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture, this second-generation family-owned business treats everyone just like their family. Jared Capps is continuing his mom and dad's 50-year business tradition where honesty, transparency, and service carry the day. My nephew loved the luxury vinyl product. Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture has the largest selection in the area. Whether you prefer Mohawk and the wide variety of their product lines, I love the Rev Wood product, by the way, or Karastan or Pergo Elements line, Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture will literally have you covered. You have pets? Let Jared tell you about the many sustainable flooring and carpet options that are pet-friendly but also easily maintained to keep your floors looking great every day. And don't forget about their huge selection of Lazy Boy recliners. They are awesome and one of the biggest selections in the Midwest. Call them today at 618-936-0536 and get your free estimate or set up a consultation with one of their experts. You can also go to jerseyvillecarpetandfurniture.net. Proud sponsor of Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Dan McLaughlin inviting you to the 22nd annual Dan McLaughlin Tournament coming up October 14th at Norwood Hills Country Club. This is all to benefit the Special Education Foundation. By participating, you'll support programs benefiting students with disabilities, making a tangible impact on their lives. Also, your involvement directly contributes to SEF's initiatives, providing resources and opportunities for these students to excel academically and beyond. This golf tournament has raised over $5 million throughout the years, and we want you to be a part of it. October 14th, the Dan McLaughlin Golf Tournament for the 22nd year at Norwood Hills Country Club. To find out more, visit sef-stl.org. If you'd like to play, participate, or donate, again, that's sef-stl.org. And I'll see you on October 14th.
I am proud to welcome the Gateway section of the PGA back to my show. Whether you're pulling into your favorite driving range, public golf course, or country club, there is an excellent chance that the staff there is part of the over 300 men and women PGA professionals at over 100 facilities that make up our Gateway section. I grew up watching so many of these fine men and women getting to the golf course at dawn, leaving at dusk, spending their entire day running events, giving lessons, and growing this great game. PGA Reach, Drive, Chip, and Putt, PGA Hope, and the fantastic PGA Junior League are a few of the examples of the programs run by these same PGA professionals. Go to gatewaypga.org to learn more, or to find your next PGA professional for your next lesson, go to pga.com. The Gateway PGA, growing the game we love.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, It's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Mano's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Mano's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Mano's, located in Chesterfield.
So you've been hearing me talk about one of our community's greatest contributors and most philanthropically inclined companies. Yes, of course, I'm talking about Marcone. They're the largest distributor of General Electric appliance parts in North America. Did you know that Marcone is also the largest and most trusted supplier of commercial and residential appliance parts, HVAC, plumbing, commercial kitchens, and pools and spas? All of that's in North America as well. That's right, Marcone does all that. Marcone is committed to supporting our first responders, all the branches of service in our military, our police and firefighters, and many more. From the viewing deck at the Ascension Charity Classic, founded in honor of our military heroes, to their commitment to Reese Across America program, Marcone is here for you and your family as well as your community. That's Marcone, the official sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is The Back Nine. The Back Nine is brought to you by Car Shield. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Ascension Charity Classic Sunday. Hopefully you're headed out to Norwood Hills to take in the final day of the Ascension Charity Classic. And with Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Just heard from Frank Nobilo of CBS Sports, who had an upfront and close seat to watching Scotty Scheffler. Compared it a little bit to seeing Tiger in 2000. A lot of great things, though, that came out of that interview. Really enjoyed it. We had Ian Banker-Finch from CBS Sports last weekend. Yep. He was great. Frank was just great moments ago. One of the things I want to jump into is that the pace of play thing and the issue that they have, even on television, trying to fill. People say, hey, I want to see more shots. Don't cut away to commercials. That's all well and good, but you have to have action to be able to do it, Jay.
Danny, 100%. And look at what did Frank say? Yeah, but TV stroking a check for $700 million.
Right.
How do you not break off and get this stuff paid for? And here's the thing, Danny. I can remember when we used to always play threesomes. We'd play threesomes on the weekend. We used to always do that. We decided for pace of play, we're going to go to twosomes on the weekend. And I'll never forget, I made the cut down at Doral, and it was our first weekend of twosomes. When you're on the West Coast, because of daylight savings time and the fact that you're trying to get stuff on prime time on the East Coast, it's all three balls. You're never going off in twosomes. So we wait till we get to the East Coast and then we go. I mentioned with Frank, I think I played with Mark Calcavecchia, and we played in under 3 hours. And everybody was playing 320, 340. Now it's just gotten so completely out of hand.
5 hour rounds.
It's ridiculous.
5 hour rounds.
Two guys play. This is not the way the game's meant to be played. There's too much commotion. There's too much. I get it. There's a lot of money at stake. Ready golf, man. Get ready to play, and they need a stricter shot clock. And look, everybody should get 1 or 2 special instances during a round, because you'll get a lie, you'll get something, you'll need time. Okay, I don't know how else to explain it. You give them 2, and then after that, nope. You got to start taking money out of their pocket, and not $500. You got to start at $10,000 or start adding shots. You've got to.
Do you add marshals on the golf course? So you have one for each pairing that's out there, for each threesome that's out there, and say, look, guys, you're behind pace of play, and it's got to go to this level. If not, we're going to start levying some fines. Yeah, well, so yes, you can absolutely do that. They do that at major championships where there's a marker and an official with every group, and you could do that. Practically speaking, for the tour event, for every tour event, it's probably not reasonable to think. But Danny, you have a time. So they set up this thing called time par, and they give you this time par, and they don't keep anyone to it.
They do. They don't keep anyone to that, and they need to adjust the time part down and make it. There is no way. This is a 4 hour, maybe 4 hour, 20-minute game. This is not 5 hours, 5:30. There is no way in hell. And look, you want more shots? We need more shots being hit then. And if these guys are slowing it down so much, D, I don't blame the TV viewer. You're sitting there at a group, and they're all jacking around and talking about this, that, the other, and you might sit in one group and watch three players get to only see three shots, and you've spent 6 minutes of camera time on that group.
I can't imagine as a player the frustration that goes along with that. I remember being at the Ascension Charity Classic a year ago, and I think I brought this up to you. You're sitting there ready to go on a par 3. I can't remember which one it was, but you stood there for at least 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, this is the Ascension Charity Classic, where guys should be playing fairly at a crisp pace,
right?
More so than what we see maybe on the regular tour. And I was thinking, man, guys got to be getting stiff. You're out of rhythm. Even from a player's perspective, they can't want to be playing and sitting out there that long.
No way. No. There's some players that love it.
Really?
There's some players that love it. Danny, I will tell you this. I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but if they knew that by playing slow or slower would screw up you and their group, they'd tie their shoe on every hole.
Just to mess you up.
Oh, yeah.
Gamesmanship.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's one of the hardest things when I did my mental prep to play, and I'll do it again, and I've done it again this week, one of the biggest keys for me is slow down. You're going to have a ton of time. I'm out there all day with my daughter Mackenzie. Enjoy it. Talk to her. Relax and not stress it. And then when it's your turn, now we click it in and we go. But it's when you and I play, hell, just a week ago, you and I played 18 holes, and there was no way in hell it was even 2.5 hours.
Right.
It was one of those hot days, if you recall. Nobody was on the golf course, and you and I just hit it.
Yep.
And we hit it, and we ran, and off we went, and had a great time. We were sweating like crazy, but we got in under 3 hours.
It was the best.
I love that.
And my back nine was better than my front, so I went in a lot better.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
happy.
And that's the that's the hard thing, man. You're going to be out there for twice as long, so you really have to get your concentration figured out, where you go in and out and in and out, and when you're out, just go way out. Think about the baseball, think about your grandkids, think about movies, whatever it is.
I thought, kind of reading between the lines, listening to Frank, but he seemed to be frustrated with the direction of the leadership of the tour. Did you take that away too?
Oh, 100%. Frank and I talked off air too, Danny, and look, I think right now we are void in leadership in the pro game. Well, let me restate that, because that sounds so stupid, because I'm not talking about the RNA. I'm not talking about Michael Wan and what he's doing at the USGA. I'm talking about Jay Monahan at the PGA Tour. I mean, now all of a sudden, Liv has 54 players. Now we're going to 70, and we're having events with no cuts. And come on, man. What are we doing? What is the point? I mean, we are separating ourselves so much, Danny, just within our own organization, where, you've got the 4 major championships, and those are all going to be the highlight of the year. Then you've got players, which is right there. It's if the 4 majors are one, then the Players Championship 1A. Is 1A, you know? And now you're going to have these elevated events with no cuts for $25 million purses?
You're not in.
No.
What did you think of the scoring and how it worked this last weekend?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I just don't like that. I'm not a fan. I'd rather see some sort of head-to-head something. I would look at it this way. Maybe we do it something like this, D. I love FedEx. First of all, I love FedEx. I love the fact how they support golf. I love the idea of the FedEx Cup. But let's say we have an entire year's worth of competition, and whoever at the end of that competition leads in the points, has won the cup. Okay, or won the FedEx Cup aggregate. Now, those next 3 weeks, we're going to play some sort of round-robin match play event to establish a winner of that's going to play some sort of round against that guy. Just mix it up.
I don't think we have enough match play to break up the season anyway. I love it.
I love the match play, too. Here's the problem with match play, D. It does not take much for me to have a great day and run Scotty Scheffler out of the tournament.
And I'm okay with that.
I am too, but
That's
the
the beauty of
sponsors might be pissed. They'll be like, who's this cat?
We got Delsing, we got McLaughlin.
Delsing. What is he doing out here?
We didn't sign up for this.
Hey, we did not sign up for this man. He's got a large head and he's way too tall. But how does that work? But there's way more creative ways because that staggered start doesn't work in golf. Colin, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to say it. Colin Morikawa won the Tour Championship,
He sure
Danny. He shot the lowest score, and he was really tied with Sahith if Sahith didn't get that penalty. Those guys played great. Scotty Scheffler had another great week, shot 20 under par, but he finished third.
Yeah.
That's what that looks like to me. And so what's the big deal? I
think then you have to say we are not competing against college football. We're not competing against pro football. We're doing what we think is best for our fans that truly love the game that will tune into us anyway.
Right.
Yeah, because is anybody really going to tune in anyway to see Scotty Scheffler have that kind of a head start in a tournament and win it? I don't. It's different, but I don't think that you're going to do that anyway.
Nerdy in the weeds,
right?
Addicted to all kinds of crazy golf, and we barely watched it. I mean, it was still fun to watch, but you're like,
I would have watched it as if it was just a normal tournament anyway.
Yeah. Same.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it would be cool. So the guy that has the best year wins this, and there's some sort of bonus pool there. And then we've got 3 weeks of this thing that we have this build up, and maybe it's the top 5 from each race go in there, and but you've got to reward the guys one way or another, and then throw them all in a pot and have a top 10 or 15 and play a round robin thing, do something like that, but mix it up. Let's do something different.
So I guess the question would be is what do you do with leadership? Where does it go? Is it more in the players' hands? You want them to have more of a voice? Do you want one individual to take this thing over and say, this is the direction we're going with or without Liv, with their participation or not? I mean, that's where you're at.
Right.
Is trying to figure that out first and foremost.
No question. We need a strong leader that will have, as Frank said so beautifully, you have to tell players no.
Yeah.
Guess what? We're not doing that. Here's what we're doing. Here's why we're doing it. If you don't like it, don't care. Appreciate your opinion. Keep playing well. All things will work out for you. But I'm running the business side of this thing. You keep playing good golf, and we'll marry these two together, and we'll go on happily ever after. Let's try that. Look. If you were to poll the top 100 players on the PGA Tour, how many of those guys do you think would give Monahan a 7 or above on a scale of 10?
I don't think many.
I don't either, Danny. And I think that number is going to be somewhere between 4 and 6 all day long, and some are going to be under 4.
Yeah. What do you think their biggest complaint is? Because ultimately it comes down to money.
Yeah.
And are guys making enough money? And are we getting, as a tour, enough money? And is that money going in our pockets? Do you think they're happy, though, with the money that's being raised for the purses of these events? And that would be the question I think you'd have to ask as to whether or not you're happy with the commissioner.
Right. We're playing for such ungodly amounts of money. I'm sure that they're going to say the money's fine. But to me, Danny, it's almost offensive. It's gotten like we went from 0 to 700. We skipped 60. We just went beyond all of these guideposts that we should have stopped at along the way and gone, we're going to gradually build this up, and by 2030, we'll have this, to play for. It's almost like shock therapy for me, and so do the players. I don't know, Danny, because the top 30 are going to be delighted. But what if you're 40th? You had a damn good year, but you want to finish 40th, and you're over here. Or how about if you finished 51st, we're just outside of Keegan Bradley before the BMW, and now you're not in any of the elevated events. Maybe you get in one here or there or something like that, but what the heck? I just think that there's I feel like some of the numbers are too arbitrary. I feel like the reaction to Liv was way too knee jerk. I mean, then we wound up getting in with SSG. Is that the sports group? And I think they're probably great partners. But I'm just the look, and it all just seems like, is this really where we want to go? Okay, yes, raise the purses, great. Give the players more money, no problem. But did you need to spike it like this?
And it doesn't seem to be working. The interest level is what you wanted, and I don't think it worked.
Well, and Danny, what Nobilo said, what that really resonated the best with me is the fans aren't happy.
Right.
You're not listening to the fans per se. You say you are, but if you want more golf and you want to watch more golf, fix slow play, man. Fix slow play, and these guys you're going to see more golf shots than you've ever seen in golf.
That's Jay. I'm Dan. We'll have more news about the Ascension Charity Classic on this Sunday of the Ascension Charity Classic as we head down the stretch here in hour number 2. Also, the mailbag is open, jay@jdelsinggolf.com, and we'll answer some of those questions as well. You're listening to what is a Sunday tradition. Jay's got a little smile on his face. A Sunday tradition. It is Golf with Jay Delsing.
That was the Back Nine, presented by Elevate Golf. Get your golf game in shape with Elevate Golf.
Do you remember the golden rule? I'm sure you do, but just in case, it goes like this. Treat people the way that you'd like to be treated. At People's National Bank, that one statement is the cornerstone of what this bank is all about. Locally owned, with 23 locations in Southern Illinois and the metropolitan St. Louis area, People's National Bank parlays a robust menu of commercial or personal banking services you could possibly need with a friendly yet hardworking Midwestern attitude. Maybe you just want to do business with a bank whose entire team lives in the same neighborhoods as we do. If you're like me and doing business with someone you trust is important to you, then People's National Bank is the bank for you. Jason Rantham, local president, is here for you to call, and he'll answer any questions you may have. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. You can also find us online at peoplesnationalbank.com. People's National Bank is here for
Hi,
all
this is Adam
of your
Betts from
banking
Family
needs.
Golf and Learning Center. At FGLC here in Kirkwood, we feature a double-decker driving range, 2 large grass tees with Tahoma Bermuda grass. You want to work on your short game? We have a short game area too, which features a 20,000 square foot green, 3 bunkers, and Zoysia surrounds. Also at Family Golf and Learning Center, don't forget about our 9-hole par 3 course, the indoor TrackMan simulators, and our performance center. If you're looking for the best golf instruction, regardless of skill, we can help. Find out more at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
A professional golfer, as you watch on TV every Sunday afternoon, never ventures onto the course without his trusted caddy. This was true for me for my entire career. I want you to think of Powers Insurance as your insurance caddy that you never had. Just as my golf caddy helped me to assess risk on the golf course, Powers Insurance can do the same for you in your busy and complicated life. Tim Davis, COO at Powers Insurance, did exactly that for me and saved me over 50% on one of my coverages. A good insurance risk advisor can help you know when to take a chance or when it may be smarter to take a little more club. Give the folks at Powers Insurance a call and get a caddy for all of your insurance needs. Call them at 314-725-1414. That's 314-725-1414. That's Powers Insurance.
This is Paul Lazinger, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, Jay Delsing here, and I know I speak for all of we golfers. We're always looking to try to improve our game. For me, that means I go to one place, and that one place is Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. Tom DeGrand opened his family business in 1975 with a goal of providing St. Louis with the finest in golf equipment, instruction, and technology. Whether you need a new rangefinder, your first set of clubs, or anything else you can think of, Pro-Am Golf has just what you're looking for. If you're a scratch handicap or you carry a 20 handicap, come visit Pro-Am Golf and inquire about a lesson from Tom DeGrand. He's been fixing golf swings and making St. Louis better at golf for over 40 years. Go get your gear, lessons, or anything golf related where I go, and that's Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. You can also visit them online at Pro-Am Golf USA. That's ProAmGolfUSA.com. It's Pro-Am Golf, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing, rated as the #1 golf show in the Midwest. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Final day of the Ascension Charity Classic over at Norwood Hills. Tickets still available for you at ascensioncharityclassic.com. You can watch my man over here play. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Mailbag open later in the show. Jay at jdelsinggolf.com. I want to throw this at you. We made the announcement yesterday, so exciting for golf fans, that the Ascension Charity Classic will be staying here for 3 more years. Can you imagine if he decides to do this, turns 50, and it's Tiger Woods who'll be part of the Ascension Charity Classic moving forward in the next 3 years? That is a possibility. It could happen. It'd be incredible to see Tiger out at Norwood Hills.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, so, folks, Tiger turns 49 in December of this year. So in December of 2025, the big cat turns 50. So I talked to a couple friends. Well, hell, we had Miller Brady on the show. He is the commissioner of the Champions Tour, and they're already having contingency meetings for Tiger if he's going to play.
Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, my gosh. How many people do you think we'd have at Norwood?
Well, Belle Reve had, 50,000?
Yeah.
Could you get 50,000 out to Norwood?
It'll be jammed.
Could you get that many?
I think we could. I don't know where we'd park everybody. We'd probably have to do some overflow parking, because we do have
you would.
We do have a lot of area, Danny, at Emerson that I believe they let us use, and we currently use Lutheran North, and we currently use some of the Ever North property over there at UMSL campus. But boy,
I don't know if you could fit 50,000 there.
I don't know, man. It would be fun to try.
Oh, let's find out.
Yeah, I know. It would be fun to try. But, Danny, if this happens, this will be like taking the Champions. So just look at it this way, in my opinion. The Champions Tour ratings.
Oh, it's skyrocket.
And they'll kill the PGA Tour ratings.
You think they would?
I do.
Oh, I don't know if it'd be that much.
Oh, man, Tiger.
Well, he moves the needle. There's no question about it.
Yep. Or he is the needle.
He is the needle.
Yeah.
Think about the second wave of money that players on the Champions Tour would be a part of. Some of those guys were at the tail end of when Tiger first got there. Some of them were in the prime years of Tiger, made a bunch of money because of the Tiger money, and they'd get another wave of Tiger money coming to the Champions Tour, because that would happen.
That's a good question. How much additional monies would they be throwing at the? So one of the biggest concerns
Come down to sponsors, right?
Right. And one of the biggest concerns, D, about Champions Tour purses back in the day was that we didn't want them to get up too high because they'd rival regular tour purses.
Is that right?
Not anymore. We don't have that. I mean, most of the Champions Tour purses are between $1.8 and $3 million. I mean, who'd care if you made every purse $5 million? With Tiger, you could probably easily do that.
Oh, 100%.
How many times a year would Tiger win if he played 10 events?
10.
I know.
Honestly, I think he would.
Probably would.
If he's still qualifying after 2 days on a bad leg at Augusta, and he can use a cart at some of these lesser courses, he'd tear him up.
I agree.
What would he shoot at Norwood?
Oh, whatever he wanted.
So this course record was set last year at 62.
Yeah, no, that's one interesting thing about Tiger. He doesn't have those crazy low rounds in him, like other players might. He's just got he's horribly consistent.
Yes,
you know what I mean. He just fires it up, and man, that is so interesting.
Do you think he'd have too much pride to say, "I'm not riding in a cart"?
I don't think so.
He'd say, "Hey, this is where I'm at in my career, and I'm okay with it. These are the rules. I'm good with it."
He didn't make the rules. You know, he's had that horrible accident, and that's the way it is. I mean, how about this? He won the Masters in 2019.
I know, it's not that far away.
No, and I mean, that's the regular tour, and that oh man, I just remember back in 2018 with him over at Bellerive, and he made that putt on the 9th hole, and I swear the ground shook.
Yep.
It was unbelievable. And Danny, just sitting here with you, reminiscing about what the possibilities are so exciting. And then how much more money would we raise for charity?
Enormous.
Enormous.
Just the tentacles. I'm thinking of the tentacles of him if he decides to play. And I don't care if he goes out and shoots 85.
Yep.
People are going to go watch him play. People will tune in to watch him play. Sponsors will want to be a part of it. The amount of money that he would single-handedly make for that tour is just, it's beyond question, what it could be.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, it'd be billions of dollars with a B.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, with a B.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah, it's fun to think about. I mean, it's just fun to think about. You start putting 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people on a golf course, man. That is so cool.
You know what was cool, too, is that on Tuesday night, I had the privilege of emceeing the pairings party. And one of the things that the Missouri Division of Tourism, they are proud sponsors of the Ascension Charity Classic, but they made sure that the food, the beverages, everything was from the state of Missouri. So you had a Missouri flavor, literally, to what we took in on Tuesday night. I thought that was really cool and a nice touch.
I did too. I thought that the Missouri Bureau of Tourism does a great job. Scott Hovis, great buddy, also runs Missouri Golf Foundation. He's just a great guy. This thing does not come together without Scott and his connections, his love for the game, his love for the state of Missouri, his love for growing the game. And then you got, Ron Kay coming in with Stiefel. Man alive, can't thank him enough. It's just, and all the things that Stiefel does for the community. I mean, man, we have compliance solutions. They're our buddy Mark Lammert, Wes Johnson. Those guys came in as a presenting sponsor. That's a big deal. Just a big deal. So everybody it all came together, Danny, and it all just, it's a collaboration, and I'm just so glad to be part of it for a few more years.
And it wraps up today, this edition of the Ascension Charity Classic. Ascension Charity Classic Sunday. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, and coming up, we'll head into the mailbag as we head down the stretch. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
We're heading into the clubhouse, and it's time to go into the mailbag. Tips from a PGA Tour player are coming up. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's biggest names: Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Langer, Ernie Els, and more will return September 3rd through the 8th at Norwood Hills. All tournament proceeds go to area charities serving North St. Louis County youth and families. Sponsorship opportunities, pro-am foursomes, and more information available for you at AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Daugherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
Hello, friends. This is Jim Nance, and you are listening to Golf with my friend Jay Delsing.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Dan McLaughlin, inviting you to the 22nd Annual Dan McLaughlin Tournament coming up October 14th at Norwood Hills Country Club. This is all to benefit the Special Education Foundation. By participating, you'll support programs benefiting students with disabilities, making a tangible impact on their lives. Also, your involvement directly contributes to SEF's initiatives, providing resources and opportunities for these students to excel academically and beyond. This golf tournament has raised over $5 million throughout the years, and we want you to be a part of it. October 14th, the Dan McLaughlin Golf Tournament for the 22nd year at Norwood Hills Country Club. To find out more, visit sef-stl.org. If you'd like to play, participate, or donate, again, that's sef-stl.org. And I'll see you on October 14th.
This is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center located in Kirkwood. Our motto is play your best golf. We have the best instruction for every skill level. 2 female instructors along with our 8 PGA instructors. We're there for the kids and the adults who are starting to play and trying to refine their game. Family Golf and Learning Center features a double-decker driving range, grass tees, and a short game area, along with indoor simulators and a performance center. That's not all. Don't forget about our Back Nine Bar and Grill. Find out how we can help you and your family. Head to familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com. It's Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf.
I'm delighted to welcome the Amateur Players Tour to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. The APT team has worked so hard to establish a national golf tour for amateurs. Folks, don't miss out on this opportunity. If you love golf and ever wondered what all the fuss about tournament golf is, then this tour is for you. We just released the 2024 schedule, and it is a beast. There's 21 events currently in the metropolitan St. Louis area, with many more to come. But check out these golf courses: Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Stonewolf, Ambrier, Persimmon Woods, Gateway National, and a 36-hole event on Norwood's West Course, and many more. Okay, so the courses are certainly cool and nice, but what's really neat is the way the events are run and how they are run. The APT team does a fantastic job of closely monitoring handicaps and ensuring a good and fair competition. There are 5 divisions, a year-long points competition, major championships, elevated events, and much, much more. Right now, there are over 6,000 members in 41 different local chapters across the country. And all that's happened in just over 5 years. Join now and don't miss out on the best tournament golf in the country, run for amateurs by amateurs themselves. Go to amateurplayerstour.com. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, brought to you by Car Shield and Doherty Business Solutions, every Sunday morning from 8 to 10. It features top guests, tips from a PGA Tour player, and the latest news and notes from around the world of golf. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Final segment on Golf with Jay Delsing. The mailbag is open. Jay@jdelsinggolf.com. Jay@jdelsinggolf.com. Let's make sure and clarify this. We're not giving away tickets right now, but last week you gave away tickets on the show on your weekly hit on 101 ESPN, and your email blew up.
Crazy.
So it just went nuts.
Yeah.
You gave away soccer tickets.
Yeah, I had a couple of tickets to City, and I bet I got 50, 100 emails, and all of a sudden my phone was like, meh, 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 meh. I'm looking down, I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah, so.
How come that doesn't happen when you say you're going to correct a golf swing? You don't get a lot of those emails. People aren't just hitting you up with the email. Jay.
I know. Help me.
Last resort here.
I get a few, but I don't know. Maybe one day we will. Who knows?
You should do that.
Yeah, we'll try that. Well, how can we do that? That could be fun.
We'll think about it for next week.
Yeah.
Give away some tickets, figure it out. Maybe some Blues tickets or Cardinal tickets, something like that.
Yeah, we'll do
maybe
that.
some golf balls. You've done that before.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I've had a tough time with TaylorMade. Jeff Thornhill, such a great guy and great supporter of the show. He is the one that supplied the TaylorMade golf balls, but they just have not been able to. We haven't been able to work it out this year.
Okay. This is a question about your preparation for the Ascension.
Yeah.
This is Mike in Kirkwood, and Mike was curious what you did between rounds. So you teed off Friday for an official round.
Yep. Yesterday
was your second round, obviously getting ready for today. What do you do in between your rounds?
Well, different parts of the game feel different, so I'm usually, Mike, when I get hitting bad shots, it usually has something to do with rhythm, which oftentimes has to do with my setup. So what I'll always, when I was playing all the time, what I would do was go to the range and just work on a setup. Get my club down, make sure it's parallel left of my target, make sure that I've got my forearms are level. That's a huge thing for me. I have a tendency to set up what I feel like is square with my right shoulder, which is my trail shoulder, gets a little too close to the ball. So my shoulders wind up open to the line and my club winds up going across. And so I'm constantly trying to work on that to get myself playing from the same position every single day. I bet, Danny, the last 10 or 12 years of my career, the main focus in my golf swing was trying to figure out where my body was in space and try and get it to be the same thing every single day. It sounds so simple. It's really not. At least it wasn't for me.
What made it so tough, you think? Because you know your swing so well, you know your setup so well. You're a professional golfer. These things aren't supposed to happen, Jay Bird.
Right. When I was younger,
you think you'd be laughing at me?
When I was younger, it's not supposed to happen. You're right. When I was younger, I didn't have nearly enough awareness, and I wasn't a guy that worked on my technique that much. I was much more of a field player. But even within a field player, you need to have that consistent fundamentals, and my fundamentals just weren't as good as they should have been earlier in my career. I had a lot of talent. That wasn't it. But when everybody out there's got talent. When you have talent and then you add to it some polishing, and that's when you look at younger players in other sports. You look at what Mason Wynn is doing with the Cardinals, and you look at how great he's been at the plate as a rookie, and should be a contender for Rookie of the Year, and probably Danny will win a Gold Glove. But you watch him, and you watch him prepare, and you listen to what people are saying about how intelligently he goes about it. I didn't have enough of that when I was, I got on tour when I was 23, and it was a scramble.
Yeah.
I didn't think about technique. I was thinking about, how do I travel? How do I, all of a sudden I got married. There's just a lot of different things that I was dealing with and not dealing enough with the fundamentals of my golf game, and that would have helped a lot. And the setup, I did not appreciate until I was probably 10 years on tour with how important my setup was.
By the way, I haven't asked you, what's it been like the last couple of days with your daughter on the bag?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Greatest experience ever. She's such a delightful person, and, quietly competitive, and really, really wants me to do well. And just the best tournament I've ever had. It's just fun to just look down at her, and she favors me a little bit. The poor thing, she looks a little bit like me, and so we have a really good relationship, and she's extremely fit. So her carrying the golf bag is not bad at all, but it ain't easy. Let's just put it that way.
Now, do you have to sit there and say, like you were in the sand the other day?
Yeah.
Do you have to sit there and watch and go, oh, make sure you rake this a little bit?
Oh, no doubt. The boys get very, very touchy if you don't rake. Oh, Danny, I'll never forget. I think I told you this story. Peter Jacobson had
this is where I was going with it. Yeah.
Yep. Peter Jacobson had his son Mick caddying for him, and Mick was probably about 15 years old. We were playing at Castle Pines in the International, where we just 3 weeks ago played the BMW championship, where Keegan Bradley won. And I swear, Peter hit it in every bunker he could on the front nine. It was unbelievable. And after 6 holes, I'll never forget this. Andrew McGee was playing behind us, and he called an official, and the official came up and said, Peter, we understand you've had some bunker issues. And he's like, I've hit it in every bunker out here. And he goes, you got to pay attention. The rake jobs are bad. Other players have gotten in there, and they're at real disadvantage. You've got to leave that bunker in better shape than it was when you got in there. You really, really do. And so she'll know that, though. We'll go over some of those things and help her out, and hopefully I won't hit it in too many.
And then maybe she won't walk in your line today like I've done. Last couple of times, I can't believe what's going on with me.
Yeah, but I knocked those putts right in. I'm like, dude, if I can knock them in, let's keep on walking there. Smash down the spike marks. You know what's weird, though, D? I can fix spike marks now, so it's no big deal. So that's like you're the only person in the whole day that walked in that line right there.
The funny thing was, though, I walked in your line and you said, hey, Danny, do you see where I hit my shot? And I thought you were just trying to give me trouble, like, hey, I hit a really good shot. Look how close I am to the hole. That was your way of being very nice to me and saying, you're walking in my line. Get your butt, move it over.
Yeah, that was great.
I need to officially, on the radio, apologize for walking in your line.
Whatever. You're good.
All right.
You're good.
This is Susie in St. Charles, wants to know about putting and yanking putts. So is it club face? What am I doing? Alignment? What do you normally see when somebody's yanking a putt?
Yeah, so Susie, typically speaking, your setup is going to be what causes you trouble here with your putter. So what do I mean by that? First of all, I want you to get as relaxed as you can possibly be over the putt. So I want your forearms, your arms, and everything relaxed. I also want you to notice your hand position as it relates to when you put your hands on your putter grip, as to where that grip relates to the ball. So, Susie, your hands have to be at least in the center of the ball. They don't want to be 3 or 4 inches forward, but you certainly don't want them even half an inch behind the ball. You do not. That's crucially important. My guess is this is where you've gotten yourself, mixed up a little bit. So what we need to do is check our aim to make sure that we're pointing the putter where we want it to start, because oftentimes if you continually pull putts, I'm guessing, and I'm assuming Susie is a right-handed golfer, so I'm assuming you're aiming too far to the right. So, and that's your instincts going if I stroke it out to the right, I'm going to miss. So I need to pull it across there to give it a chance to go in. So that's what I'm assuming is happening. So check that your setup position, and have someone look at where you're aiming your putter. Now, here's a couple ways how you can help yourself aim putts better. Use a stamp on the ball. Let's say you're using a Titleist ball, so where it says the Pro V1, use that stamp on the seam of the ball and line it to where you want the ball to start. That way, when you put your putter down behind it, you're looking down at your ball, you know if you're pointed in the right direction. And if it doesn't feel right when you point it there, then you've been aiming in the wrong direction. And that's probably what's happening, Dean. Typically speaking, Danny, when we're missing a shot one way all the time, it means we're usually aiming too far the other way. People are like, oh, I must be aiming left. No, chances are you're not aiming left and stroking it there. Chances are you're aiming right and subconsciously knowing it, and the reason you're pulling is to give yourself a chance to make a putt.
How do you mark your ball? I've never noticed. How do you mark it?
I mark it. I've used the line before.
That's kind of where I'm going with this.
I've used the line before. I've actually won a tournament with the line. I've won a tournament without the line. Right now, all I'm doing is the Titleist brand. Look at Titleist and the number of the ball. They're just square right behind as I'm looking down, I look right at it, and then I just roller.
We got a lot of questions, and I'm not sure how to phrase this, but they ask about the flex in the shaft.
Yeah.
Stiff shaft,
yep.
Non-stiff, those kind of things.
Sure.
What do you advise for an amateur out there? If they're getting fitted, I guess is one thing, but then, in terms of the stiffness of a shaft, where do you go on that?
That's a good question, Dan, because I was asking, our buddy John Worth was talking to me about this the other day. John is the COO of Daugherty Business Solutions, and gosh, we can't thank Daugherty, Ron and his team, John and Kelly and Lee and all those guys enough for supporting the show. So the flex of the shaft is your speed, and is how that correlates to the flex of your shaft. If you swing the club at 100 miles an hour or so, which is really fast, you need a stiff shaft. You absolutely need a stiff shaft. But my biggest thing here, D, is go get fitted and let those guys explain that to you. So let's say, for example, you have yourself, actually at 100 miles an hour, you might even need an extra stiff shaft like I have. Let's say you go in there and your swing speed with your driver is 85. That's pretty typical. That's plenty of speed. It's not tour caliber, but it's still pretty fast. You're going to be right in between a stiff and a regular, right in between. If you're, say, over 50, you might even be between a senior flex, which is in between a stiff and a regular. But the reason the flex is important, guys, is that we want that shaft kicking or flexing down at the bottom so that you're going to get some pop on that ball as you swing and load up the shaft. And we talked about the orange whip, Danny, and we talked about why it's so important. And the most common question I get asked every single week, everywhere I go, is how can I hit it further? It's by loading that shaft up. The orange whip teaches you how to do that. It's wonderful for it. And so that's the way I'd explain that.
Okay, let's wrap up the show. A couple minutes to go. Your emotions heading into the final day of the Ascension, knowing how much you've done, not only for yourself individually, but what the tournament means to you. Because I know you work on this every single day, trying to get people to come to the tournament, sponsors to support it, being a part of the Pro-Ams, participating in the tournament as a player. I mean, what are the emotions in this final day?
I hate to see it end.
Yeah.
I really do. I hate to see it end, but then I say, well, okay, we've got 3 more years. This is going to be fun. And we've learned a lot. You're part of the ambassador program like I am, but you bleed this like I do as well. And it's without question a group effort. The guys at HNS, Maggie and Ellen and Connor and all those guys. It's a group effort. I guess I feel proud, to know that the Boys and Girls Club, Urban League, Mary Grove, PGA Reach, First Tee, and many, many, many more organizations, Danny, are going to benefit from this thing, and that someone's life is going to be better because we played this golf tournament here. That's pretty dang cool.
And the thing that I think is so cool, wrap it up with this, the guys, the biggest names on the tour, they're like, this is the Jay Delsing Invitational a lot of time.
Oh, I know.
They give you so
guys
much
are giving
trouble.
me way too much credit. I told Vijay Singh, who is not overly gushy about anything positive, came up to me last year and said, I know you had everything to do. I said, V, I'm part of a team, and I'm just another cog in the wheel, man. It means a lot to me, but do not give me that much credit.
Well, you deserve it.
You're nice. I do not. The whole team, all of us, we're a group effort. We're all working this together. Smitty and his group have been great. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun day.
All right. Congratulations. Another fun day. Hit them straight. And what do you tell everybody else?
Yeah, you guys hit them straight too, but I hope I hit them straight today. Hit them straight today, Jay, for once. Let's go. I am delighted to welcome Folds of Honor to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney and his team donate 91% of all funds directly to these scholarships. And oh, by the way, to date, 52,000 of these life-changing scholarships have been awarded since 2007. 45% of those 52,000 scholarships have been awarded to minority recipients. So join the Folds of Honor team today and donate at foldsofhonor.com.
Hi, I'm Adam Betts, PGA professional and owner at Family Golf and Learning Center. We welcome golfers of all ages and abilities, from the junior golfer to the experienced players. From our indoor TrackMan simulators, large short game area, grass tees, and driving range bays, to our golf instruction, leagues, clinics, and camps, we connect you with every resource to reach your golfing goals. We look forward to helping you improve your golf game at Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf. Visit us at familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, it's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make, and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's, from greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family.